And we're back again. My name is Josh. Thanks for checking out the channel. What we're going to do today is we're doing a movie review for a movie that I didn't even know was in the works of coming out and or had already come out. And then all of a sudden, I heard a little rumbling about it, and then I checked out, and bingo bango, I had a channel that it was on. And that, of course, is Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, I believe, is the exact title of that. This is one that I did not know was coming out. Like I previously said, I had no clue they were even thinking about rehashing anything with Beavis and Butthead. But as soon as I did find out about it, I was like, you know, I should probably give this a shot. And I think it's on Paramount Plus, which I'd already had. I think I got that so I could watch the new Halloween movie that came out. And I think the next one may be coming out on that one. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, I still had it. So that was on there. And I'd be like, oh, let's just give it a shot. And to be fair, just so you all know where I'm coming from, I did grow up mostly... My important developmental years were probably in the 90s, and Beavis and Butthead was a very big part of the 90s, and I had completely forgotten about how much they were in my life, let alone, I was just thinking like in culture in general. I mean, I think at the time when that came out on MTV, that was one of the more, would be deemed kind of trashy, or parents frowned upon their kids watching Beavis and Butthead because it was basically a kid named Beavis and one called Butthead that just made noises and kind of laughed and started fires and, you know, stupid stuff like that, which I guess you could completely see why as a teenager or young adult that would be appealing to you, because very important to me still as far as very funny. And I think that was kind of the take-home message from this. I realized is that as I was thinking back about Beavis and Butthead, up until the movie when Beavis and Butthead Did America was that big movie that came out, and I can't remember the actual year that came out, but the show for the most part, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from everything I remember, it's mostly, you know, them watching different music videos and commentating and headbanging and stuff in their couch, and then it was intermittent clips between that and them going to work, working at the fast food joint they did, a little bit of school, stuff like that, and dealing with some bullies and whatnot. Always trying to score, that's their biggest thing. That and, you know, eat nachos and heavy metal music, and pretty much anything that 15-year-old, because I'm pretty sure we were looking while we were watching that they're supposed to be 15 years old or in that range. That's what they're looking to do. So it's a very basic, the show is very basic, and all of the stuff, there wasn't much storytelling that happened with that. I mean, it was literally, you know, just intermittent clips of them going to do stuff, they get beat up, they do something stupid, and it goes back to music videos. But there was a whole culture around that and fan following, and then they made the movie Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I'm pretty sure that did fairly well. I mean, I think everybody's seen that at some point in their life, and that was a good quality one. It's, again, a lot different as far as when that movie came out, so it's interesting that they make another movie that has basically the same premise. So the premise of this one, if you're unfamiliar, and it's no spoilers because they kind of give it away in the trailer, and honestly this isn't a big spoiler movie. It's Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. They are the same 15-year-old, more or less dumbasses that are just trying to score and get nachos and enjoy their life, and they do that in the most ridiculous kinds of ways. Again, it parallels the first movie really well, but the interesting thing, as I was saying, is like to see how something that you would take from the 90s and how that would apply in the 2020s with society the way we are, cultures the way we are, all the fighting and everything else that we have going on. The social media wasn't even a thing back then, I don't think, even at all. So it's just very interesting, and it literally is that. That's the plot of the movie. They are taken out of the 1996, I believe. I think it was 96, 97, something like that, and then just plopped right into 2022. And it's kind of partially dealing with that, and partially still on their mission. The thing that Beavis and Butthead does and did and has done really well in the past is Beavis and Butthead themselves as characters are basically kind of, they're not that important. Only thing they are is they kind of represent just the sounding board for everybody to talk to. So like as the audience, like Beavis and Butthead are the audience, and everybody gets to explain everything and the situation that's going on, and then they just are dumb as shit and just kind of what? And then the story keeps moving on, and that's what's kind of hilarious about it, because you can tell all kinds of different stories. You could see how situations can escalate super quickly with people assuming things and then just taking things for granted, or you can go down the litany of reasons and ways that Mike Judge, who was the creator for this, I hope that's his name, correct, yeah, Mike Judge, also King of the Hill, one of my favorite shows ever, uses to create some social commentary in text. I mean, it's not as over the head as some things nowadays, but some of it also is pretty in your face, but he does some really good social commentary on different issues of saying either things are somewhat ridiculous or some are a little over the top, and it's a very interesting take on that. So overall, the story, the plot of the movie, again, if you haven't seen it in the trailer, is they are on a mission to score, and it leads to them somehow getting sent to NASA space camp, then somehow hilariously getting sent an actual mission in space, then somehow getting sucked into a black hole, basically throws them into the future, and then they continue their mission. There's a lot of wackiness that ensues, and it is really about the characters around them and what they're trying to do that make it so funny, because Beavis and Butthead, literally, they're singular focus. They're going to do one thing. They're looking to go score. And everything that happens around them, it's hilarious, but it's also everybody's own fault for what they're doing. Everybody has their own agendas, which is an analogy for real life, is that everybody has everything they're out to get for themselves and better their own positions and take care of themselves and everything like that, and that's what this is literally about. And there's some really hilarious scenes that happen in here. I mean, one of them specifically, they end up walking into a college gender studies class. So coming straight from the 90s into a 2022 gender studies class is pretty shocking, and it's pretty hilarious actually too. So that's probably one of my favorite scenes from the movie. But there are a lot of very nostalgic things. Again, they are Beavis and Butthead, just like they were in the past.
I am Cornholio. I need TV for my bungle.
Funny. It's a very different sense of humor. Again, Mike Judge, if you are familiar with Beavis and Butthead, but maybe even not that, maybe more folks nowadays are more familiar with King of the Hill, because the show did run for, I believe, 12 or 13 years, and I'm still under the hopes that that comes back at some point, because I think animated wise it may be my favorite show. It's pretty close with a lot. I mean, you got The Simpsons, you got some Family Guy, American Dad, stuff like that, but King of the Hill is the most realistic. King of the Hill is one that could have been an actual sitcom, but it's an actual real life people just in animated form is how I always viewed it, and the characters are really good. They tell really good stories. Okay, this isn't a King of the Hill review, but it's going to show how good of a writer Mike Judge is and everybody else that worked on that show, and I'm assuming they're the same ones that worked on this show, even though I did learn that assuming a lot of things from this movie is probably not the best of things to do. But overall, I was pretty surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie, and it was on Paramount Plus, I believe. So if you have that, I'd say give it a check. I mean, it's pretty solid. Out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 7. I mean, that's one that I would definitely go back and watch again. I think I'll pick up some more funny things. There's some really funny parts. There's some redundant, annoying things, but that's Beavis and Butthead, and that's kind of the point. Overall, I would say I liked it better than I did the Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Beavis, this changes everything.
Just because it's much more applicable to now, and I think I can appreciate it more being a little older now about all the jokes. So let me know what you think. Would you guys give it a shot? I would definitely be down for more Beavis and Butthead. I'm pretty sure my brother told me that the movie may have been leading into a new show that they're doing with that. So if that's the case, I will probably be watching that as well. So let me know what you think. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow the channel so we can continue to put out more and more videos and produce better and better content and grow the biceps.
Who are you, fart knockers?
Amusing, yes.
Yes, humorous, yes.
Satirical comment on the times.
Yes, amusing.